Hello, friends. I'm back down in the studio. It is actually just a little before December. Oh, Lord. I have a glass of Pinot here, but I haven't even started drinking, so it is a little before Christmas. And I am down in the studio because guess what? Bitch got to work on some paintings for some presents. So that's what I'm going to do. You have to excuse me, I'm walking around. But so I'm going to work on another present, a gift for my friend Robin, who doesn't know she's getting this. I have a feeling she probably suspects. I did one for her some years back, and I'll pop it somewhere, probably over here, maybe there. I don't know. We'll just figure it out. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to work and start the beginnings of her painting. This is of her pit bull, Beau. Beau's a special little creature. I met Beau and he was an itty bitty puppy. Picture will show up somewhere. He was a cute little fella, and he still is a cute little fella. But Beau does not like loud noises, like fireworks and things like that. So thunder scares the poor little fella. So he's had a tough time of it here in North Carolina. You know, our love of fireworks and guns and thunderstorms. Yeah, we love those here. So anyway, but I am going to work on it. I have photo references that I have printed out. Oh, look at the little face. Look at that baby. So I got that one, and this one. Look at those little lips. But the one we're going to work from, that I'm going to use as my drawing, which is already here, I've already sketched it on. I'm going to go with this face right here. Just because that is so like Beau. Whenever you go over there, he's always there to greet you. And as I'm doing this, there's a black and white one down here. Want to know why Daddy's talking to himself again, and she doesn't understand. So, hello baby, hi. So, like I said, I've already started with the sketch, which, you know, we talked about last time. I do ahead of time typically. I'm not one of those. Some people paint, like, they will paint their background, like, they will paint with, you know, I've seen, like, you know, like, it's my baby Bob Ross did sometimes, but anyway, you know, they'll paint, like, the background and yada yada, and I've never been that way. I'm always a sketcher. I always sketch first, and then I'll paint, but don't think I'm going to start doing that anytime soon, that other method, because that's not going to happen. But it can be done if you are so inquired. I'm going to hang these extra ones over here just for reference, especially for like his nose. He's a cute little fella though. He is spoiled rotten, as you can tell. The pups in the Craven household are well taken care of. Robin and Phil love their pups. So like I said, I'm going to work on this one of Beau. I'm not going to force you to sit here and listen to me talk the whole time. I have brushes. I'm going to load my canvas. My palette, and I'll get back with you as soon as I get done loading my palette. I'll probably just start painting, and we'll throw that into time lapse and be like, you know, I'll look like a spaz child more than I already do. So I guess we should start painting, don't you think? Okay, so I've loaded the canvas. Palette, canvas, palette. Loaded the palette. I've loaded some greens and some blue. Now you'll notice in the photo there's only green and stuff like here. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this concrete here. Reason being is, one, don't wanna, and I'm the artist. I can do what I want. And two, the painting that I did for Robin previous, you know, Diesel, the one I showed you earlier, probably will show up again here. It has a lot of this color in it with some blues. So what I'm going to do is put a little of that blue in this background, but I'm also going to play with the greens. Number one, because this is one of Robin's favorite greens. That's right, Boy's using his noggin, and this is also one of her favorite blues. So I'm kind of playing here. I got my girl covered. So anyway, I'm going to throw you back on time lapse, and we're going to start working on the background of this, because I really need to get that done. And honestly, within here, it's going to be a lot less work. However, I would be putting some pinks around his nose, obviously, doing some blacks. He has a collar and everything, so I'll be working on it. But anyway, let's just get to work on the background, shall we? So here's where we are. Here, let me turn off some of this. Hold on, sorry folks. Turn that down just a little bit. Okay, so here's where we are. Background's pretty much done. You saw me painting on the sides. Once again, this is a gallery wrapped canvas. It's about an inch and a quarter thick. So as like the others, painted around the sides. So I will have to put some paint here and do some green along the bottom so it matches. But for now, here's where we are. I like how it's really loose. That's what I wanted to go for. Like I said, I wanted to add this green because the other one's blue. It has the more blue. The one of her first, the first one I did for of her Jack Russell Diesel. So, so I'm gonna let this dry. Luckily it's acrylic, so it dries pretty quickly. As a matter of fact, a lot of these spots up here are already starting to dry, which is great. So I'll let that dry, and I'll come back and tackle this maybe tonight. My time now, obviously now as you're watching this video, it's a little after 7:20 in the evening. I might come back down and start working on adding in some of the detail, which now you can't see because the camera's here, but like some of the detail in his ear in here, and start adding some pinks and do the white. The last thing I'll lay in is the dark, the blacks. His eyes will be last, probably. So yeah, so we'll see where this takes us, but here's where we are as of now. We're back, friends. Okay, so this is yesterday's palette. I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna get me a brand new palette. I'm gonna get a brand new palette. Yes, off camera, kind of, not really. Okay, it's got a brand new palette here. So I'm going to, work on that. I'm going to load my palette and just start painting. What I've noticed in one of my other videos that you'll see probably, these will probably be both put up at the same time. Bitch can talk. Lord, I talk way too much. But that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody who really knows me. So I'm going to shut up, but before I get started, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go into time lapse. Today, like I mentioned the other day, he's got some great little pinks around his face here. I'm going to start laying in some of the shadowing and see if we can't get some stuff going on with this boy, a little Beau dog. Beau. So I'm going to load canvas and pretty much shut up at this point, okay? And I'm just going to start painting. I said load canvas, and we'll load my palette. Why do I get palette, canvas? Anyway, I'm going to load my palette so I can paint my canvas. See ya. Okay, so now what I've done is I've worked in all the pinks and did some white on here. I know it's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I stand back, maybe I'll get some shots here handheld so you can really see it. But what I did was I worked some whites here, some pink, just really subtle because you know his little muzzle is just kind of pink, and he's got some pink around his eyes. So I wanted to go ahead and work that in before I worked my shadows in, so that my shadows were over top of the pink of the skin tone. I'm probably not going to do them as heavy as they are here, just for the simple reason that you know, the sun's here on him, and then all of a sudden he's all in shadow. So I've just got to kind of fake some shadow so that it makes it a little more representative of what I'm dealing with as opposed to what's on the actual photo. So I'm going to let this actually dry down before I put my shadows over top, because I kind of want them to lay on top of and not mix with. So it's going to be just a few minutes, but we'll be back down probably. Meanwhile, I think I need a Pinot Grigio. Okay, so the video is going to be odd because I changed it. But anyway, now you can kind of see what I was talking about with the pinks. So I worked in the pinks into his skin, around his eye, and his ear. Because if you see here in the go by, pinks, and up here, it's not as much pink, but I know dogs have a lot of pink in their ears. And then you've got this little thing going on. So I've got some work to do there. You see, here's the other go by. You can kind of see he has a little bit of pink here around his face. Look at that little face. He's such a sweetheart. But anyway, so I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll come back to it. But I wanted you guys to see that. Okay, everybody, we're back. It's a little late in the afternoon. We're dry. That's why I love acrylic. As you can see, you might not be able to see from that far back, there's some areas here. When I was painting the green, I was being very careful to kind of stay within my line of where I knew I wanted the edge of the dog to be, because white is not always easy to cover other things. So there's some areas here that I'm gonna have to go back in and touch white here in just a little bit. And there's some areas in here that, even though I wanted some pinker tones in here, I want some highlights of white as well. So I'm gonna pull some more of those up. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. So once again, I'm gonna throw you on time lapse because those last videos are too long. They're just too long. Oh, and by the way, first new glass of Pinot Grigio. By the way, if you ever wonder what I'm drinking, what brand, I drink Cavett Pinot Grigio. I can get it in a big bottle. Okay, I was just doing some work and I'm not sure I even captured it. Oops. Yeah, I just started adding some of these shadows. Yeah, I don't even know if I captured it or not, so sorry if I didn't. But anyway, just wanted to show you where we are right now. I've got to adjust some lights here because I've got some really bright lights over here. I think I'm going to move them because right now I feel like I'm going, hi, hi. I look like Steve Buscemi or something. Either that or I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back. So maybe that'll help a little bit. I still look like I'm being blown out over here, but that's okay. So added some darker spots. I'm going to go back in and put a little tiny bit of pink back in the ear because I just took a lot of it out. I'm going to need to add some grays in to get some shadows. Then I'll be able to go in and work on the blacks and start to bring this kid close to, dare I say it, almost being finished. Yeah, crazy. Because the black is really going to take it over the top and make it something much more than it already is. So we'll see. Back to time lapse. Pretty sure I've already mentioned before, and if I haven't, every painting goes through an ugly phase. This one just hit it. It's at that moment, let's call it the teenage years. Let's not call it ugly phase. You know, the teenage years. Remember those kids? Back when you were kind of tall, thin, geeky, you know, acne, weird emotions, craziness, erections out of nowhere. Well, that's what this is right now. It's an erection out of nowhere. It needs some work. I'm going to keep going. It's not dead. I mean, like I said, every painting gets to this point. Oops, I just touched that. That probably went, sorry. But what'll happen is I'll get it past this and we'll be looking much better. But right now, this is where it sits, the teenage years. So, as you can see, adding the black, solid black, really made things go bam! So still have some things to work on, obviously. It's slowly coming out of the teenage years. We're late teenage now, probably. Late teenage. I would guess late teenage. Yeah, so I'm going to work on that. Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. This one may be mixed media. I may pull in some oil pastel and really play a little more. But right now, this is where we stand. So back to timeline. Okay, I just did something and you probably didn't even really pay attention to it because it's in time lapse and it's like, but so I was working on the nose and the nose was all jacked up. When I tell you it was jacked up, did not look right at all. So I had to fix the nose. So I'm gonna have to go back in and rework on that. I definitely think I'm gonna play with this one a little more than I did her first one. I don't want them all to be the same, and I'll show you another reminder probably in this space of what the old one looked like. I don't want them to look exactly the same because they're different pieces of art and different personalities and dogs. So I'm probably going to have some more line on this one maybe than I did on her other one, but we'll see. Hopefully she'll like them equally. But who knows? But anyway, this is where I am. Back to time lapse. So, struggling with the nose. Not looking like I want it to, not happening the way I need it to. So I'm going to stop futzing with it, let it sit. That's something, sometimes you just have to walk away from things for a little bit. I really want to get this done this weekend because I'm on a time constraint, so that's part of why I'm like, Plus I work fast. I go and I work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this guy here sit. I'm going to work on his teeth real quick, and then I'm probably going to work on the collar here with the tag, and then I'm going to let it sit back and relax and chill for a while. And see where I go next. So I'm gonna throw you back in time lapse, but I wanted to explain why I keep working on this nose and it's like, so back to time lapse. Okay, so now it's time, let me get you. So now it's time for me to discuss, while I'm getting my chair, what I like and what I don't like. Hello, friends. Okay, here's what I like. I like the background. Oh, wait a minute. You can't hear me because I'm on time lapse. I'm on a regular video. Wait a minute. I'm on a regular video, right? Yeah, I'm on a regular video. Woo! So, I like the background. I'm happy with that, obviously, because I haven't touched it for a while. I am happy with the collar. It was really quick, it was easy, and I didn't futz with it. I might put a little highlight in here. It's gonna be minimal, and I'll be done. I'm not futzing with that anymore. I'm happy with his little mouth. Approached it simply, boom, done. Eyes, so-so. Color around his nose, yes. Here's what I'm not happy with. Obviously, I still need to work on this, so I'm not even really going to mention it, but I just mentioned it, so I guess, yeah. With the nose, feels weird to me. Not sure what I'm going to do there. Ears, I'm questioning. And overall, he needs some more shadow work, because right now he's relatively flat, which I don't have a problem with it being flat per se, but I'd like to have some more fun with it. And what I may end up doing is I may not add more shadow. I may add some, but not a lot. And then go in with like I said, maybe some oil pastel or something and play there and really have much more fun with it there instead of with the paintbrush. I do that on occasion. I do mixed media. I don't always just paint. I will draw in some things, and a lot of times that helps a lot too with the painting coming out looking more like what I have in my head. Which is sometimes a scary place to be in my head. But anyway, so I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit, I think. Maybe. I say that every time and then I come right back and I'm starting to paint again, but because I really need this to, yeah, it's still a little wet. Well, maybe not. Maybe that was just something on my finger. No, it's pretty dry. I might go ahead and throw that together and finish this little space so I can feel really good about that. Yeah, we'll see. I'll time lapse it. You know how it goes. So now I'm at a spot where I feel good about the painting from in the air. I think I need to work on some shading. I feel he's kind of flat. But what I think I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to break out my black liner brush. And I'm going to play a little bit because it may be that once I put the black liner brush and do what I do with that, I may be done. Just because this is a little more subtle and shading, and by the time I get the black liner, it may be a lot more fun and frivolous and crazy. So we'll see, kids. So back to time lapse we go. Actually, first I need to get some Pinot Grigio. Be right back. Guess who's back with Pinot? I actually decided to do something a little different. I'm not time lapsing this bitch. Do this in real time. See you people out there. You all can see how I work. Like I said before, I work quickly. I work really fast. For the most part, this has been done a little bit yesterday and then today. The other video for the one that's back there, the video itself is like an hour long. And honestly, the time lapse didn't take me that much longer. I worked on that bad boy, boom, 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 and be done. I don't really take a lot of time to work on things. There are times where I may work on something for a day, 2 or more. That's rare. Usually I come down to the studio, and if it's not done in a day or 2, it may not ever get done. And I've had paintings where I've started and stopped and started, and they don't go very far. Case in point, with my friend Maltese, which you can see just above my hand there. I've started that painting of her 3 times and have not completed it. I have 3 Maltese paintings in my home that are incomplete, not incomplete. All the English professors I've ever had are going, oh God, they're incomplete. If I don't finish them within a certain amount of time, I just get bored with them and I stop. And that's a death to a lot of things I've had here at the house. But anyway, I'm going to do this in real time. So I'm going to take my canvas. There I go. Why am I mixing canvas and palette together? Am I having Alzheimer's moments? I don't know. Anyway, oh, here comes the ladies. They're coming down to see what Dad's talking about. They hear Dad talking. They're like, what's he doing? Hey, babies. How are you? Hi. Hey, Maui. Hey, Leia. You might be able to see a tail here in a minute flap through, especially Leia because she's a little taller. Hey, babies. Oh, there goes Maui's butt. I mean, hey. Leia, you going to come get on camera? You can come get on camera? Oh, there's a little bit of Leia. Yeah. Hey, babies. Okay, I got to get back to this. I love you girls, but I got to get back to this. So I'm going to go and play a little bit here and start to pull some lines, which always makes me nervous. But what I want to do is just simply add some line here that just adds a little something to the piece, doesn't take away from it. I will be honest with you, I love retro cartoons. You know, like the old Flintstones, old Scooby-Doo, you know, the kids my age, and I'm telling you my age, 50. So kids that, you know, we grew up with these great cartoons that had these wonderful lines. And I will tell you that there are some now that are coming back and giving us great line work again, and it just makes me wet. And I'm sure people are going, oh dear God, he said wet. I didn't say moist. But there are cartoons out there now that are giving us that great line work again, and it just makes me so happy. Like the Jetsons and the Hair Bear Bunch and all these great cartoons from Saturday morning that these kids now don't get because they are inundated with all day long. I mean, hell, you got a Cartoon Network. And yes, my ass watches Cartoon Network. But the great part about it is that I've always loved that type of work. So for me, adding a black line on a piece doesn't make it feel, to me, any cartoony. I mean, it does add a little whimsy to the piece, but for me, that's fun. Why not? Why does art have to be so freaking stuffy? It doesn't. People want you to think that, and they always want you to think you always have to have like certain pieces in your home. They have to look a certain way, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this is your house. You do what you want to with your house. And if you want to have a cartoon hanging on your damn wall, you hang a damn cartoon on your wall. I mean, seriously, have fun with shit. People get, it just kills me because people get so caught up in being so like perfect and having everything right and not like having a house that reflects them. They're worried about having the right piece of furniture or the right piece of art, or people tend to want to always think they have to say, hey baby, Leia's down here if you can't see her, which you really can't. They want to have the right art. They want to have the right this. They have that. And it's like, God, get over yourself. Just have things in your house you like. It's your house. And guess what? If somebody else doesn't like it, okay, bitch, fine. Nobody said you had to like it. This is my house. I didn't ask you to come here and give me your opinion. You know what I mean? I didn't ask for opinions. I mean, if I did, that's a different story. But guess what? I might not have. Well, I'm sure people are watching like, oh, that bitch is drunk. No, I'm not. I'm just speaking my mind. Because I'm really... You know, sometimes you get to that age, and I'm at that age, 50. Let's talk about that some more. You get to that age, and you're just like, you know what? I really don't care anymore. You start saying what you've always wanted to say, and be the person you always wanted to be. That's where I am. Not that I've not... Some of my friends are watching this video going, when have you said not said what you wanted to say? The thing is, it's like, I have always, and always will be, respectful of other people in general, as long as they're respectful of me. Disrespect me, and bitch, you got another thing coming. Because you lose all respect at that point from me. You might as well just give up. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything when I talk to you. I'm not going to be your best buddy. Yeah, forget it. Not happening. So, I just don't deal well with that kind of stuff. I don't deal well with two-faced. Oh, Leia, sorry, sweetheart. I step on your toe. Hello. I love you too, baby. Go lay down. Where's Maui? Go over there and lay with Maui. I just don't deal well with two-faced people. Never have, probably never will. I have a great group of friends who love me for me, and I love them for who they are. And I wouldn't trade them for the world. And yeah, so life is good. Folks, you know what? I'm gonna do this right here in front of you. Guess what? This bitch is done. Finished. Well, I say finished. I still have to paint the bottom where the green needs to be. I'm really happy with how it turned out once I've added the black line. So I'll get some shots of this and add them at the end of the video. But yeah, we're done. So hope you enjoyed it. See ya.